Hey boo, this is Aja, and you can get your Drag Race fix on page 6. And it's no shade.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jason.
And welcome to Work Room Weekly. This is our second episode where we recap all things Drag Race, specifically All Stars Season 10.
Yes.
Episode 3, Jason.
I was going to say, yes, our second episode, but third episode for the show. I mean, it's wild that it feels like it's been so long, but it's also only been 2 weeks.
But they're not playing nice anymore.
No.
The gloves are off and 3 queens go home tonight.
Yeah, our orange group. I feel like we just met them and now they're on the way out.
It's always sad when someone has to go home. I always cried at the end of every American Idol.
Oh, really? Yeah. You cried for David Archuleta or whoever it was. We picked up where our queens were coming back to the workroom to divvy up their final 4 points.
That's right.
And it's interesting because we had these alliances that some queens thought that we were going to adhere to and others just went completely the opposite direction. I don't know.
Yes, the alliances fell apart, and we'll see for Olivia by the end of the episode. I think it completely backfired in her face.
Yeah, I don't know. So
let me break down the points. Yeah. So at the beginning of the episode, Bosco and Irene have 4. Deja, Olivia, and Aja have 3 points, and Phoenix is left with just 1. And this is kind of a bummer. They're all kind of passing their participatory points around, or I think Aja even called them mess points.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Phoenix is left with basically...
I did expect someone to give me their point. I got gifted this week. What is really going on?
Yeah. She was like, I'm going to have to win the challenge and the lip sync and just to be in the running.
She's doing the math and she's like, I'm basically toast.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just here for the ride at this point.
But she slides it in there. She says, but one of you is going to need my point to go on to the next round.
Yeah, because there was a little bit of drama, specifically coming from Aja, because I think she thought that Olivia was going to give her point for the Mimu Alliance, and Olivia ended up giving it to Deja. So then, which technically was in line with Olivia's other alliance, the Melanation Station. So she wasn't doing completely wrong.
If we're all in this together, to even it out. What?
But Aja was very offended.
And Olivia's explanation was sort of like, well, I thought it would be better for everyone if we all just kind of spread out the points evenly and then it would give everyone a chance. And really Aja's thinking,
girl, bye.
This is sabotaging me a teeny bit.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, at that point, like her, Deja, and Aja all had the same amount of points. So like in Olivia's mind, it did kind of work out how she thought it would. But in Aja's, it just wasn't what she wanted.
We're seeing a different Olivia Lux, and social media is not happy with it.
I know, yeah.
She's getting dragged a little bit for showing this like mean girl side. And it's crazy because this episode, I think she looks even more tough.
Yeah.
And she was getting all these trolls coming out on Twitter and stuff, on X, you know, saying that she is basically fake with her personality, which happens with these alliances. But I was happy to see Olivia actually tweeted back, and she said, OMG, thank y'all so much for all the hate and the hateful messages. Y'all are real ones for that.
Yes.
So she's smiling through it.
Yes. Her congenial side is shining through.
Yes.
It is.
She flashed that $1 million smile.
Yes. And then the next morning, the girls all come back to the workroom and Aja is still not happy. Mm-mm. You know, they had their little talk. Olivia gave her context for her actions and Aja was still not having it.
They had an alliance and they live near each other in Brooklyn. They're part of like the same house.
I know. I can see where like blood runs thicker than water and, you know, at least in Aja's eyes, but it didn't really play out as she wanted. And as a result, she just completely put all the cards out on the table. She said, hey, everyone, we had this alliance. She completely disrespected it. And then Olivia's like, well, I had this other alliance, you know, with our melanated girls, with Deja. So at this point, all the alliances have gone up into flames. Everyone knows. And poor Phoenix is sitting there and it's like,
she's like, y'all, I thought this was shady, y'all.
Yeah. Wait, I had to survivor my way to the win. Phoenix was a little betrayed, but I don't know. It allowed everyone to go into this final challenge with, you know, all their cards on the table.
Right. The best way to do well in the tournament style is to win the challenge and to win the lip sync. That's
Yeah.
the best way to get the most points.
Yeah. So we go into our final maxi challenge for our first bracket, and it's a makeover challenge.
You need to transform these red-hot hoopsters into your very own drag sisters.
Why are you rolling your eyes? I love a makeover
It's
challenge.
not just a makeover challenge. They're writing original lyrics, they're doing choreography, and they're doing a makeover challenge that has to be family resemblance. This was too hard. I was so stressed out with this episode.
I know. We had these collegiate basketball players, aligning with our sports theme. And
I love seeing the women's basketball players. They're all stunning.
Yes.
And you could tell the drag queens are really excited to get the
a fun
team up with
canvas
them.
to work on, definitely.
And Irene was playing very nice. She actually paired everyone up appropriately with who they think they could probably do well with.
Yeah.
And I was like, Irene, she's the real one for that.
She had a good attitude. She was like, if I'm going to win, I want to win based on, my talent, my abilities, not because I undercut someone else, which is quite an all-stars attitude to have. She's confident in herself, which was awesome. But yes, so we have our maxi challenge, and then we went into the workroom. We saw the girls kind of meet with one another, and Irene, I loved her. She said, she has this all the girls are beautiful, but Irene was like, I have this particularly stunning girl, and I want to completely turn you into an extraterrestrial sci-fi alien. And this girl's like, I thought I was coming to Drag Race.
So I was thinking that for this one, I would do sort of like a fantasy, like sci-fi clown. Stay with me.
Okay.
I can sense the hesitation in you, but I promise it will be very, very cool.
Okay.
I thought I was getting like a MAC Cosmetics makeover, and she was like, no, girl, I'm painting you black and white. It was
This
like,
isn't Sephora. This is Drag Race All-Stars.
Yeah.
And she turned her into this like black and silver sci-fi alien creature.
Yes.
This was my favorite look for the challenge.
It was so fun.
Irene, it's a bit of a runaway for bracket one. Irene has just like crushed it 3 weeks in a row or 3 episodes in a row. And she went from being kind of a nobody or a forgotten queen to now like one of the front runners.
Yeah, no,
It's impressive.
She really did. And I think, her other competition, I thought Bosco also did really well this episode. It was so
Very
funny.
glamorous.
Very glamorous. It was so gorgeous. She had this like 6'7" partner that she could just play with. And I thought it was so gorgeous. The look that she did with her. She almost gave like Crystal Versace. I don't know if you like saw that in her person, but like she was just snatched and it was like so gorgeous. And I thought it was also funny when they were practicing their
Wait, do you mean
dance.
Crystal Envy or Ariel Versace?
No, Crystal Versace from Drag Race UK, our winner.
My God.
I got to put a side by side. We'll put a side by side. These queens looked, the highest praise, like one of the most beautiful drag queens ever. But what I was also going to say was when they were doing their like dance rehearsal, it was so funny how Bosco was trying to like give, confidence to this girl and was like, Mama, just feel your oats, feel your roots. And I think at one point the basketball player's like, I just have to not listen to what she's saying because I don't quite understand it, but I know she means well. And it was just so cute.
They knocked it out of the park. The dance number, they have original lyrics, choreography, matching outfits. This was a huge undertaking. This is asking a lot of the basketball players.
Yeah.
But, I also noticed the camera moved around a lot. So I think it was a very forgiving edit.
Yeah. No, I thought I thought it was just going to be a makeover challenge. And like you said, they gave them the full fantasy experience.
But not every family resemblance worked. Deja's did not look like they were in the same party at all.
Michelle called them best friends.
Michelle was like, you seem like best friends. You don't seem like family members. And then the guest judge, Kate Beckinsale, came to Deja's defense and was like, oh, this happens with sisters. There's a blonde one and a brunette one. And they look like they're, this. And Michelle was like, no, honey.
No, but I love anytime a guest judge specifically challenges Michelle.
To me, that's best friends going out for a night.
I don't agree. So, whenever you see sisters, they look like you. They don't look the same. There's always one that looks like this and one that looks like that.
Because we've seen it in the past, and usually what Michelle says we take as Bible, and I love when the guest judge is actually like, no. Like you see like La Roche will sometimes do it with her, or, those like really powerful, guest judges we get. So when I saw Kate doing it, I was like, get her, Jane. It was good.
Get her, Jade.
Well, and it's no surprise that the queens that came into page 6 were gushing over Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. You know, like several of them were obsessed with her. And in fact, when Ts Madison came to page 6 earlier this year, she also shared this adorable story about meeting Kate backstage. Take a look.
We sat next to each other all this time. She came out in this fabulous outfit because she's always going to do that. And then we went to lunch break and we came back and she says, "Oh my God, can I do it? Can I do it?" She says, "Oh my God, I've been sitting here for this very long time." I'm trying to get my accent together.
It sounds pretty good.
"I've been sitting here for this very long time and I know you were, but then I want to tell you," she says, what would be too crass for me to say?" I said, "Honey, I'm Ts Madison. You can say anything to me." And she said, "Well, I want to say that my daughter is one of your biggest fans. When you were big bitch," I was like, "Wait!" I said, "Wait! Kate, how in the hell did you stumble across this?"
See, this is what Drag Race is all about, you know, inspiring the fans. Kate Beckinsale's daughter, who's also an actress, is inspired by watching Drag Race. It's it's amazing.
It was so cute. Even in Untucked, when Kate went and talked with the girls, she was saying how she was on the phone with her daughter earlier that day and was saying how she was so jealous knowing she was at Drag Race. So.
And by the way, her daughter is Lily Sheen.
Yes.
Michael Sheen and Kate Beckinsale's daughter, who's also an actress.
Quite an iconic Nepo baby, if you ask me. I mean, just saying.
Cheers for that.
Yes. But then for our tops of the week, we did have Irene and Bosco.
Once again.
Another Seattle battle, which I'm always happy with.
Seattle battle.
It is. The round 2, they did. And it was fun. They did a lip sync to Pocketbook, which, what did you think?
I'd never even heard this song before. No disrespect to J Hud. I love this lip sync. I thought, again, Irene's lip sync outfit looked incredible with the cotton candy alien hair. And they were just having such a good time. And also, I always love it when the lip sync, you know, doesn't require a death drop and a split and a dangerous form of gymnastics.
Yeah. It's just pure talent.
They just own the song.
Yeah, and Irene actually came out on top. She finally got her win. We've seen her lip sync every single episode, but she finally got it, which is awesome. I think it's a great end of her bracket run, which was pretty cool.
Absolutely. I mean, Irene is now the front runner for bracket 1.
Congratulations, you're a winner, baby.
Hey, work them up.
Yeah.
But the rest of the queens then have to decide who is going to take that 3rd place, spot.
Yeah.
This is when it really feels like my palms are sweating, mom spaghetti. I am nervous for them.
Yes. Yeah. And they had to do it on the main stage. They brought out the lipsticks and the mirrors and they had to, in the moment, do it. And it was, we had Aja give hers to Deja, which was very sweet, sticking with the Melanin Alliance. Deja gave hers to Olivia, very congenial. And then Olivia gave hers to Aja, so great. But that means it tied all of them up, meaning it was in Phoenix's hands to decide, do I throw this also to another tie or do I?
Yeah, Phoenix could have given her bottom 4 point, her messy point, to one of the front runners, and then let RuPaul decide. That was the new rule that was decided. If it's a tie, RuPaul decides who goes on. But she gave it to the queen that she said had been killing it backstage and on stage, and really was embodying the All Stars, bravado, and that was Aja.
And yes,
she got a little
happy.
emotional.
Yes, she was so excited.
Okay.
Work them up. Come on, Sam.
No! Damn it!
I knew it. Yes! And I mean, Aja has been showing up and showing out every single episode, and I'm really excited to see more of her. I think we knew Irene and Bosco were kind of shoo-ins, and Aja was up there going into the episode. The 3 of them were in the lead, and I'm really happy that it was Aja.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is her 3rd rodeo on Drag Race. Now she's back. This is her 3rd time, so there is a chance that she might be the dark horse, winner.
Yeah,
Aja could be an all-star.
Yeah,
and Olivia Lux right now.
A little upset. But all faith is not lost.
Oh, that's right.
Because Rue revealed that our eliminated or bottom 3 queens actually have a chance to come back.
That's right. Each of the permanent judges gets to pick one save And then those saves go into a
lottery,
which we all know means the producers are rigging that. Come on.
Yeah, but then they go into a lip sync battle, so I guess your talent can be shown. And it was kind of nice because if you watched Untucked, you will see that like they weren't all like sad at the end. They all kind of knew, like they were like, oh, I'm coming back, and like, you know, so that's really exciting to know that we're not fully saying goodbye to Deja, Olivia, and Phoenix.
All right, well, stay here at page 6 for all your Drag Race content. We'll be recapping weekly for the Work Room Weekly, and we also have more exclusive interviews with the actual queens of All Stars 10.
I'm excited for Pink Bracket.
Thank you for watching, and you can catch us on Paramount Plus.